Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive.
It's good to be back.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at a company called Fortinet,
Fortinet.
ticker symbol FTNT.
Yep.
We want to figure out, is it a stock worth your attention right now?
That's the big question.
They've got earnings reports, analyst opinions, financial data.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Let's unpack this company.
Sounds good to me.
So, what's fascinating about Fortinet?
What's that?
On the surface,
Okay.
recent performance is stellar.
Mm-hmm.
But when you dig a little deeper,
Yeah.
there are some underlying currents
Oh, interesting.
that I think we need to analyze
I think so, too.
to truly understand the full picture.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the good news.
Right.
Fortinet just had a phenomenal Q4 2024.
Really?
They exceeded expectations.
Okay.
17% revenue growth year over year.
Wow. That's impressive.
Now what's really driving that success?
Wow.
We're seeing strong product and service revenue increases.
So both sides of the business are doing well.
Exactly. And what we're really seeing is this shift
Okay.
towards a more recurring revenue model,
I see.
which bodes well for long-term stability.
Right. Makes sense.
They snagged almost 7,000 new customer logos.
Whoa.
That's a lot of new business.
Definitely a sign of strong demand.
Huge sign of market demand. And on top of that,
Yeah.
they posted a record operating margin of 39%.
39%.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with operating margin,
Right?
it basically means they're keeping a good chunk of their revenue
Okay.
after covering those operating expenses.
So higher operating margin generally means...
Healthier, more profitable.
Exactly.
And for Fortinet, this is partly fueled by their strategic move towards
Yeah.
software as a service.
Yes.
SaaS offerings like their unified SaaS
Okay.
and their security operations platform,
Also known as
CCAPs.
CCAPs.
So they're not just selling physical firewalls anymore.
Right.
They're providing those ongoing security services.
Which makes a lot of sense in today's world.
Increasingly cloud-based world,
Absolutely.
it's all about the cloud.
It is.
And this shift towards SaaS aligns with broader industry trends.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
Oh.
You subscribe to Netflix instead of buying DVDs.
Right.
You use Spotify instead of buying CDs.
Yeah, I see your point.
Same principle is applying to cybersecurity now.
Interesting.
It's less about those one-time purchases and more about continuous service and protection.
Continuous protection.
So that's the big picture.
Okay.
Let's zoom in on some specifics now.
All right.
I noticed Fortinet's guidance for Q1 2025 was a bit more cautious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're projecting 13% revenue growth.
Okay. Still good, but a little lower.
A bit of a step down, and a lower operating margin, 30 to 31%.
So what's behind this caution?
Well, one factor,
Yeah.
the potential impact of those recently announced tariffs
The tariffs.
could affect their production costs. They manufacture a significant portion of their hardware in China.
Right. The China.
So global economics come into play here.
They always do.
Now, what else is contributing to this more cautious outlook?
Well, there's also the potential for disruption in sales
Okay.
to the U.S. government,
The U.S. government,
which is a key revenue stream for them.
big customer.
Changes in spending priorities
Yeah.
or even cybersecurity policies
Right.
could impact their bottom line.
So there's some uncertainty there.
There is.
Plus, as they transition towards this more subscription-based model with SaaS, their revenue recognition might shift,
Okay.
which could impact their short-term financial reporting.
I see.
So starting to see the complexities here.
Yeah, definitely more to it than meets the eye.
It's not all smooth sailing.
Right. And this is where their narrow economic moat rating comes into play.
Narrow economic moat.
This basically means they do have competitive advantages,
Okay.
but they're not invincible.
So break that down for our listeners. What gives them this advantage?
Well, their proprietary FortiOS operating system
Okay.
and their custom-designed ASIC chips.
Those are some big advantages.
They give them a performance and cost edge.
I see.
But the narrow designation suggests
Yeah.
these advantages might not be insurmountable,
Interesting.
especially with the rise of hyperscale cloud providers,
Okay.
Amazon, Microsoft,
Big players.
who are increasingly offering their own security solutions.
So they're facing competition from some pretty big players.
They are.
But on the flip side,
Yeah.
there are also some exciting opportunities ahead for Fortinet.
Absolutely. We were talking about those exciting opportunities and
Right.
securing those hyperscaler data centers we mentioned.
Okay.
That's one of them.
All right.
This is a massive market.
Huge.
And if Fortinet can position itself as the go-to security provider for these tech giants,
yeah.
it could be a game changer.
So they could essentially profit
Yeah.
from the very companies that pose a competitive threat.
Exactly. It's a bit of a paradox.
It is.
But also a testament to their expertise in security
For sure.
beyond hyperscalers.
Okay.
They're also well-positioned to tap into the burgeoning AI security market
AI
as
security.
artificial intelligence becomes more prevalent.
Right.
Securing those systems and algorithms is going to be paramount.
It's going to be huge.
Huge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
AI security seems like a
Yeah.
natural extension of their existing cybersecurity expertise.
It is, and let's not forget about their expansion into these secure access service edge or SaaS market. SaaS.
Okay.
It's essentially a cloud-based security framework that's becoming increasingly popular as more businesses adopt those remote work models.
So they're diversifying their offerings.
They are.
To cater to this evolving landscape of remote work and cloud-based applications.
Right, and there's also the upcoming firewall refresh cycle.
Firewall refresh cycle.
Which is essentially when businesses replace their older firewalls with newer models.
Makes sense.
Fortinet, with its strong reputation in this area, is poised to benefit from this cyclical demand.
So lots of potential avenues for growth.
Lots of potential.
But you mentioned earlier that their narrow economic moat rating suggests some vulnerability.
Some vulnerability.
How should we be thinking about the risks?
Yeah, good question.
Alongside these opportunities.
Alongside the opportunities.
So those tariffs we talked about.
Remember those.
They could squeeze their margins.
They could.
If they escalate or disrupt supply chains.
Absolutely.
And the potential for shifts. In government spending or cybersecurity policies adds another layer of uncertainty.
Definitely some external factors they don't have much control over.
What about internal challenges?
Okay.
Are there any areas where Fortinet could stumble?
One challenge they face is competition. Not just from hyperscalers, but also from well-established cybersecurity players.
So like who?
I mean, you've got Palo Alto Networks.
Okay.
Checkpoint Software.
Yeah.
Cisco.
Even big
names.
Yeah.
They need to continuously innovate.
They do.
And differentiate themselves to stay ahead.
It's like a constant arms race in the cybersecurity world.
You could say that. And speaking of competition, they also need to manage the integration of their recent acquisitions. Like
Linksys.
Perception Point.
Effectively.
Bringing in new companies and technologies can be disruptive if not handled strategically.
It's a successful M&A.
Right.
It's not a given.
It's a process that needs careful planning and execution.
For sure. And then there's the human element.
The people.
Attracting and retaining top talent in this field.
It's crucial.
It's so competitive.
Very competitive.
They need to invest in their workforce and foster a culture that attracts the best minds in cybersecurity.
So it's not just about the technology. It's about the people behind it.
The people.
And finally, they need to maintain that laser focus on research and development.
R&D.
The threat landscape is constantly evolving.
Yeah, always changing.
So investing in cutting-edge technologies, like AI and machine learning, will be critical to staying ahead of the bad guys.
So we've got a lot to consider here.
A lot to consider.
Exciting opportunities, potential pitfalls.
But let's get back to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
Is Fortinet a stock you'd recommend?
The million-dollar question.
To answer that, let's look at their valuation. Currently, the market price is $104.53.
Okay.
That exceeds the estimated fair value of $90.18.
So the market is optimistic.
It seems so.
About their future growth.
But are they justified?
That's a significant premium.
It is.
So what factors would support this higher valuation?
Okay.
And what could cause it to tumble?
Well, on the positive side, Fortinet has a solid track record of execution. They've consistently delivered strong financial results. And their strategic shift towards size positions them well for that recurring revenue.
Makes sense.
If they continue to execute effectively and capitalize on those growth opportunities we discussed, their current price could be justified.
But there's always a flip side, right?
Of course, if they stumble on those challenges,
Right.
whether it's competition tariffs
Right.
or integrating those acquisitions, the market could quickly reevaluate their worth, potentially leading to a drop in their stock price.
So it's a balancing act,
It is.
weighing their strengths against the risks, and considering whether the market's optimism is justified.
Exactly, and that's why we're seeing such a range of analyst opinions
On Fortinet.
on Fortinet.
From
strongly bullish to cautiously bearish.
So it's all over the map.
Some are more focused on their short-term performance, while others are taking that longer-term view.
So it's enough to make your head spin.
It can be.
But rather than getting caught up in the hype,
or
the doom and gloom,
I
think it's more helpful to focus on understanding their core business.
I agree.
Their competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Their long-term vision.
It's about looking beyond the headlines and digging into the fundamentals.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening who are curious to learn more, this deep dive is just the beginning.
We've only scratched the surface here.
There's always more to uncover. There's always more to uncover. But where do we go from here? We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear your final verdict.
Oh, yeah.
Is Fortinet a stock you'd recommend?
Well, as with any investment,
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
I figured.
It ultimately depends on your individual risk tolerance,
Okay.
your investment goals,
Huh.
and how much faith you have.
In Fortinet.
In Fortinet's ability to navigate those challenges and capitalize on the opportunities we've discussed.
So it's not a simple yes or no.
No, it's not.
But can you break it down
Sure.
for our listeners who are trying to make sense of all this?
Yeah, if you're a risk-averse investor
Okay.
who prioritizes stability and predictability, Fortinet might not be the best fit right now.
I see why.
Their valuation is high.
Right.
And there are those several external factors, like tariffs and government spending, that could impact their performance.
Okay, so maybe not for those who prefer a more conservative approach.
Maybe not.
But what about investors who are comfortable with a bit more risk?
Okay.
Who are looking for those companies with high growth potential?
Well, for those investors,
Yeah.
Fortinet could be a very compelling option.
Interesting.
They're operating in a rapidly growing market.
Right.
They have a strong track record of innovation.
We talked about that.
And their strategic shift towards SaaS positions them well for recurring revenue and long-term growth.
So it's about aligning your investment strategy
Exactly.
with the company's profile
Yeah.
and understanding the potential risks and rewards.
Risks and rewards, exactly.
And even if you decide Fortinet isn't the right fit for your portfolio right now, I think there are some valuable lessons
I think so, too.
we can all take away from this deep dive.
Absolutely.
So what are some key takeaways you'd like our listeners to remember?
Well, first, it's crucial to look beyond the headlines
Okay.
and dig into the fundamentals of a company.
Fundamental.
Understand their core business,
Right.
their competitive landscape, their long-term vision, and the key factors that could drive or hinder their success.
Don't just get swept up in the hype or the fear.
No, don't get swept up.
Do your own research.
Exactly. Second, understand that valuation is a complex beast.
It is a beast.
It's not just about looking at past performance.
Right.
It's about assessing future potential, factoring in risks and opportunities, and considering whether the market's expectations are realistic.
And remember, those expectations can change quickly.
They can.
Based on a variety of factors.
Right. And finally, don't underestimate the importance of management and execution.
Okay.
A company can have a great product.
Yeah.
A huge market opportunity.
Yeah.
But if the leadership team can't execute effectively,
Yeah.
they're unlikely to succeed.
So look for companies with strong leadership, a clear vision, and a proven track record of delivering results.
That's a great way to sum it up.
Well, I think we've officially reached the bottom
We made it.
of our Fortinet deep dive.
The bottom of the dive.
We've explored their impressive performance, their strategic shift,
Their shifts.
the exciting opportunity, the looming challenges, and even tackled the complex world of valuation.
Hopefully you found this exploration insightful.
I hope so.
And maybe even a little bit entertaining.
We try to make it fun.
We do.
Our goal here at the deep dive
Yes.
is to make learning about complex topics.
Yes.
Engaging and accessible.
We want to equip you with the knowledge and tools to make informed decisions, whether you're investing in the stock market or simply trying to understand the forces shaping our world.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
we
encourage you to subscribe to our channel.
Please subscribe.
And hit that bell icon.
Hit that bell.
So you don't miss out on our future explorations.
We've got more deep dives coming.
Into the fascinating world of business technology.
And
beyond.
So join us on this journey of discovery.
Yes.
And together, let's keep those brains engaged.
And those questions coming.
Until next time.